talented filmmaker, Mexican-American, who tells stories of discovery and cultural integration through music. He previously led direction of bilingual media for Spotify Studios as a senior creative producer. He's the founding creative director of Zoe Saldaña's Latin media company, Bese, and is an executive producer of Miss Universe. Wow. So he's also founder of Amante, a Miami-based creative studio with a focus on multilingual audiences. And I want to start off by saying that the quote in your film really resonates. You can't have evolution without revolution.
That's Bobby Pulido.
Yes, I love that. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you were born in Mexico and you've lived here in Texas and South Texas and have gone back and forth. What would you say were some of your influences in music and film before you became a filmmaker?
Thank you, first of all, for the introduction. Can we give a round of applause, please, for our amazing host, and also for the Houston Latino Film Festival. It's not easy to be on stage. So good the way that you present. I feel nervous, but thank you for that.
Oh yeah, of course.
I was born in Reynosa, Tamaulipas. My mom, who's here, ¿dónde estás? There she is, Mom. My mom, beautiful mother, nació en Veracruz, México. Luego se mudó a Reynosa, Tamaulipas, donde conoció a mi papá. Se casaron, se mudaron de McAllen, Texas, cruzaron la frontera. Pero yo nací cuando estaban en Reynosa. Antes de que se cruzaron a McAllen. Then when I moved to McAllen, I learned to speak English at school, but I didn't know that it was going to be held against me in the United States, where I come from, you know? I guess I want to say, like, I'm not from Houston, Texas, right? I'm from McAllen, Texas, and it's similar but very different in the sense that in the Valley, in South Texas, it's not diverse like it is in Houston. Here you have populations that are from all over the place, all demographics, all nationalities, all skin tones. In the Valley, I think it's like 90% Mexican, like not even Hispanic, just like Mexican, you know? and that's both like, it's a double-edged sword because it's really positive because we get all this amazing music and culture, but at the same time, we don't get anything else, right? And I say it's a double-edged sword because for me, it made me like, it's a really beautiful bubble where in the Valley you don't feel racism, classism, because everyone is generally roughly the same class and everyone is roughly the same race. But then when you move to Austin, San Antonio, Houston, you meet other demographics and it's a much bigger bubble and you do come across these things. So I was really fortunate to grow up in a bubble that made me feel very confident being a Latino. And it didn't give me the racism that I think a lot of other people experience, or classism, or whatever you call it, outside of these little bubbles. So I kind of go around the world with this laissez-faire, almost like naivete that is, I'm just a guy, not Latino, not anything. You can call me whatever you want, but I'm just here to tell our stories and talk about who we are. And I feel like I got that from, thank you. I got that from being a Mexican-American migrant and understanding later in life how the world positions me and pushing against that.
Yeah, absolutely, because I know in an interview you said your upbringing was influenced by border culture. How important was that for you in order for you to tell the story about Jonny Canales?
Border culture, I think, is one of the most beautiful things about Texas. We have so many borders, and fortunately, we have a border with Mexico. And I think that it makes not only the people really amazing, but the migration that we are very fortunate to receive. It gives us culture, it gives us music, it gives us flavor, it gives us family, and all of the things that Jonny Canales really embodied. So when I set out to film this movie and I met him, I saw so much of myself in him, and it was innate to let the story unfold because he is the shining star to people like me, you know, who are looking for a hero like me, and he is like me, so I thought it was amazing.
And you're right, because a lot of us that grew up watching Jonny Canales Sundays, I remember my mom would say, see, you need to watch the show. You know, he's speaking Spanish, why can't you? So I'm like, okay, Mom.
It's true. My Spanish has gone up and down over my life depending on where I live. Right now it's pretty good because I live in Miami, so I speak Spanish all the time.
Right.
When I lived in New York, it got really bad. When I lived in LA, it got better. When I live in the Valley, it gets better. So, but I've learned that everyone in this world is bilingual. Everyone. And by bilingual, I don't mean that we speak English, Spanish, French, German, whatever. I mean, we all speak a language, but we also speak a visual language. We speak a spiritual language. We speak an emotional language. And if you, and by you, I mean all of us, if we are just a little open to receiving these things, we will recognize that we're all bilingual beings, and we intake not just by word, but through feeling and through vision and through sound, because we're sensual people. And the work that I do tries to reflect the bilingual person, not Mexican-American. We are just one example of the world who is bilingual and experiences the same things we do.
Yeah, and when you first got in touch with Jonny Canales and his family, and also the others that you had featured in your documentary, how did you first come up with like, okay, this is the direction I want to go with the documentary, and this is what I want to tell?
Absolutely. So I want to answer this question, and then after I'm going to invite up on stage someone very special because I think they'll add to this.
Sure.
So I do have a co-director and a co-executive producer. Her name is Mirna Perez, and she's not here with me. She would be sitting beside me, but she's the other 50% to this whole thing. Mirna, also Latina, living in the United States, super brilliant woman, called me one day about, at this point, like 6.5 years ago, and she basically was like, hey, I'm working on this show. Long story short, I'm working on this thing, and I met this woman, Nora Canales. She's amazing, and she's giving me all of this really beautiful information about this man, Jonny. But Mirna was from Miami, so she didn't know who Jonny was. She called me, her filmmaker friend from the Valley, asking me about Jonny Canales, and so I jumped at the opportunity, and I was like, Jonny is a hero to us, and you and I, Mirna, should team up and make something about this man. So Mirna flies into Texas, we meet up, we meet Nora Canales, and then we start spending time with her at her home, with her daughter, with Jonny. And I think in the first 2 weeks, we knew that we were going to tell the story of Jonny. We had like 50% of it done, but we didn't know what the rest of it was going to be, right? The characters that we meet, the artists who tell us their stories. But with the help of Nora Canales, who I would love to invite up on stage with me now, Nora, if you please would
Absolutely.
come up here. She really helped us bring this story to life and piece it together. And without Nora, it would not have been possible. So I really want to invite her up here to say a few words as well. Thank you. Because this is a story about Jonny, but it's also a story about Nora Canales and her family.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for making me feel so happy. My daughter's Miroslava. Stand up, Miroslava. Celeste Canales over here. We want to thank you for this beautiful welcome that you're giving us. I would like to acknowledge también Ruben Canales. This is Jonny's nephew. And Cassandra Canales, please. Okay.
Thank you. I just wanted her up here.
Oh, great.
Any questions?
Yes. His famous catchphrase, "You got it, take it away." Was that something that he shared with you, like where he got that inspiration?
Yes. He said that because Jonny Canales, as you know, he was a veteran. He served in the army and during the Vietnam era. So when he came back, he had his own orquesta, and then after that, he had the radio show. And he would put the music on. He would say, "Aquí le va la mafia, you got it, la mafia, take it away." You know. So at the radio, he developed the word "you got it, take it away," and then he applied it on the show, the Jonny Canales show. Yes.
Yeah, and his style was very unique at the time from the film because they were saying that he put everybody at ease and he treated everyone like family, like he's known them their whole life. What were some of the interesting stories he would share with you as far as like when he would invite guests on his shows?
It was beautiful because we were able to talk to people as we would call them and say, hey, can Bobby Pulido come to the show? Or Jennifer Peña can come to the show, and then we'll go to Ramon Ayala. And so we will make the show, there were 8 bands or 10 bands, and we will make it towards, it would be Tejano, Norteño, so everybody could enjoy their favorite artist. And he would tell, okay, vamos a hablarle a este, and then I would do the calling. So it was very homemade, the way he would do things, bien casual. He was not very like suit and tie, very professional. He was very humble. He was very nice. So yes, he was real good.
Yeah, and that resonated because a lot of us that would watch a show, like I mentioned earlier, he was very instrumental because I never thought I would see someone that looks like me. And so, yeah, that's something that always stood out in my head.
When we would go to Mexico, he would make it a point that if we would go like to Leon or those areas deep in the Mexico, he would provide the flights, the stay for De La Culturas, for Elida Yavante, for Los Palominos, for Control, everybody that he could take to Mexico, he would do it. And then we would record in Monterrey, and he would call Bobby Pulido, he would call everybody, even Jose. So he would want everybody just to enjoy the music. If we would go to Mexico, enjoy what we have in Tejas. So that's what he would do. He wanted to be, his dream was to be the bridge of Tejano and Norteño, to be like the bridge for everybody to enjoy through music, for them to enjoy music without thinking where you were at. Just feeling the music made you feel at home.
He was very instrumental in that too, because just seeing Selena and Los Tinos in their early days. Yeah, and so he said, "Don't forget me," and she said, "No, of course not." So
actually, those ones, when I was seeing him, I remember that he goes like, thank you, Mona. How do you? I'm talking about probably 2-3 days before he left. He goes, do you think they will forgive me? They will all forget about me after I'm gone? Yeah, no, Johnny. The people will never forgive you. I mean, they will never forget you. They'll always have you in your heart. They'll always see your music, and your girls and I will make sure that your legacy is never forgotten. And one of the words that really I'm really proud of is our senator. Where is she? Can you stand up, please? Give her a round of applause. I think all your words, the way you express yourself, was beautiful, and from the bottom of our hearts, thank you.
Yeah, and he did so much for Latinos, Hispanics too, because you guys have mentioned in the film, a lot of people outside of Texas weren't familiar with Tejano music. And I know you had mentioned too that when you go to places like New York and LA, people have a certain perception. What were some of the perceptions that they have about Tejano music?
Well, we've screened this film a lot in Texas and outside of Texas, and it's a world of a difference from screening, the receptions, the questions to today. So in Texas, we get standing ovations. Everybody loves Jonny Canales. They recognize Nora, right? And they know when I'm like 956, people are like, yeah. Outside of Texas, people are like, what the fuck? Like who's this guy? And I have to remind them that Texas is bigger than most countries in the world, and that Johnny was all over the world. And nobody cares, straight up,
There was one car that passes. We're going to McAllen, and they have a big 956 and just passes 100 miles per hour. He said, Johnny, míralo, ahí va.
Yeah, ahí va 956.
Ahí va 956.
I try to speak on behalf of all the people from the Valley, from Texas, regardless of where I am. The reception, look, I'll say this. Our movie, right? In Texas, very well received. People love it. Outside of Texas, we face as filmmakers the same issues that the Texan musicians face, which is we're ostracized. And even this movie being called Tejano Hollywood, people, Netflix, Amazon, Apple from LA are like, what is this? Is this for Latin American audiences? Is it for American audiences? You should take this to Netflix LATAM. It's not for Netflix North America. And we're like, no, that's the whole point. This is for everyone. But the way that our entertainment industry is structured doesn't allow for the bilingual person. It doesn't allow for the person in the middle. It does not allow for us. And so we're here taking this movie on tour to make a point that this is the future of media, and we are ahead of the curve. Y'all people outside of here are behind, you know? Right? Thank you. So the receptions are very different, but our gusto and our energy towards it is the same. And in Texas, it feels easy. Outside of Texas, it feels hard. It doesn't feel like we're accepted. Even though it's a movie and it's not music, it's the exact same thing. People are like, but it's Tejano, not us, it's not for us, it's not pop, it's not sexy. And then they watch the movie and they're like, oh, actually, it's really good. Sorry about that, you know? But like, they don't want to give it a chance. They don't.
And it also could be because a lot of us are familiar with the show, and so we have that familiarity, you know, with his energy and his style, and so we appreciate everything he did for music.
Thank you. And still, Jonny had to fight all those bridges. He had when Jonny would go out there and sell the show, it was very hard to be accepted. First of all, because he was bilingual.
Right.
They would say, no, you speak too much English. Or no, you speak too much Spanish. Or no, because everything's in Spanish and you talk a little bit of English. And so Jonny, at a very early time, he had to face all of this. And now when he would hear like people say, dale, or you te quiero ver, or stuff like that, he would go, hasta que por fin pudimos quebrar esa barrera de no poder hablar los dos lenguajes en uno. So I'm just very proud of what he did.
And he's very instrumental in having setting up Perfecto Spanish.
Exactly. No, I think that he was an inspiration to a lot of people. Like you heard it from them, you know, in the music and their language and everything. So even for me, he was my own experience when we got married. He immediately figured out that I needed to work. After 2 months or 3 months being married, o sea, you're gonna start doing interviews. So he's gonna be detrás del escenario. I don't know how to do that. He said, you'll learn. I'll teach you. I know, but I'm a migrant worker. I only know how to do like la labores. He said, that's okay. Think es un asadón, and then you'll get it.
He's a great motivational coach.
He was, yes.
So when did you know, after getting all these interviews and material, that this is the time you wanted to tell the story? Like, I know it took 5 years, right, to compile this together. When did you know, okay, now's the time I want to finally show this to the world?
So we started this movie in 2019, pre-pandemic, when we first started talking with Nora and the family. And initially, we wanted to make something. We didn't know what that was, but we wanted to tell Jonny's story. And initially, we were like, is it a TV show? Is it a movie? Is it a series? What is it? And we started, Mirna and I decided to go with Nora and Jonny, and we posted up with you guys for about 2 weeks in their house, and we rented a little Airbnb, we rented a truck, we had a camera. My Eric Vasquez, my guy right here, big round of applause for Eric. Assistant camera, assistant everything. Me and this guy, we rode around Texas for months, just like literally a truck and a camera, trying to find stories, you know, like kind of camping out. It's kind of what you got to do for these types of things, just let life unfold and be ready for it. And we did that with Nora. We took our time, you know, we took 5 years, but ultimately we knew we had to tell the story now because Jonny's health was not good.
Right.
And so we were like, Jonny's not well. If we want to make the movie, we have to get his story from him as soon as possible. So
that was one of the reasons.
Yeah, so for the first 1.5 years, we really focused on just Jonny because of his health and Jonny stories, Jonny covers, Jonny research, everything Jonny. And then once we felt like we really had a good grip on his story, then we started to go into Texas and find audience members, and then we started to find musicians, and then we started to find all the missing pieces in the middle, the intellectuals, the professors, the people who could contextualize everything. But we were always in a rush because of Jonny's health. We never expected Jonny to pass away while we were making the film. That was unexpected. And we all shared that grief. I hope I never in my life have to make a movie again where my protagonist dies, or I have to film funerals. Like, that was really, really, really difficult. I'm like holding the camera crying, just like sobbing, you know? sucked. In the context of the movie, amazing, because we have the full story, but in the context of making it, so hard and tragic, you know? And now we share this bond and this kinship of having been through all of that, and I don't understand what it means to you, because obviously I'm not of the family, but I did live with you guys for so long, and I was there
We even shared Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we shared holidays, Thanksgivings, times in the hospitals, at the funeral homes, like, Nora let me into all of that, and I would not have been able to make this without her trust and her faith in that, you know? And Johnny's health was always the driving factor.
Absolutely. I wanted to open it up now for the audience to ask questions.